केंद्र एंड अपनी तरफ से डॉक्टर शेफाली नागपाल मैम की तरफ से आपका बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन करता हूं सर, स्वागत करता हूं आज के 17वें सेशन में सर।
शुक्रिया सर, शुक्रिया। मैं कैमरा ऑन नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, बैंडविड्थ मेरी यहाँ कम आ रही है सर। इनफैक्ट आई एम इन
जी
माय
जी, नो
नेटिव
इशू
विलेज।
सर, आपकी
सो
आवाज
सर,
सुनने को मिल रही है सर,
सो
इससे बड़ी बात हमें क्या हो सकती है सर।
so sir, I'll be starting my session.
Sir, before you
So
start, I would like to introduce you, sir, with our participant.
yes, sir.
With your due permission, sir.
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah. Dr. Raza Khan is working as associate professor and heading the placement cell at Jamia Hamdard, Delhi, India. He has been instrumental in setting up various colleges in NCR and Delhi since 1995-96. He has over 25 years of rich experience, has done PhD in the field of software engineering and neural networks. His research areas are software engineering, computer graphics, machine and deep learning, big data analytics, cybersecurity, and IoT. Having successfully authored 20 text and reference books and various book chapters, he has over 100 publications, sorry, in reputed international and Indian journals. He is associate editor in International Journal of End User Computing and Development IJEUCD and reviewer at Springer, Nature and International Journal of Engineering Research and Technology. He is senior member of IEEE, CSI and ISTE and member of many computer association. With this small introduction of yours, sir, I again welcome you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Over to you, sir.
thank you very much, Pavan. Thank you, Pavan sir, for the kind words. I'm in fact enlightened to be with you today. So I welcome everyone, all the participants. So I'll be sharing my screen and then I'll be discussing about my topic. It's a very relevant topic since we are from different streams. I asked Pavan sir if the stream is from computer science. He said it is from the collection of all the streams. So we have to choose a topic, the topic which caters to everyone, which is for all the requirements so that everyone gains out of it. So in fact, I would be lucky if you gain even 10 or 15% out of my session. I'll be very grateful, thankful. So my session is on MOOCs. So I'm sharing my screen and then I'll be talking. Teachers talk a lot. So I'll be talking a lot today with you, discussing things. Just
Sir.
a moment, sir. So is my voice and my screen visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you, sir. Interrupt me anywhere if you find my voice breaking or my presentation breaking. So please interrupt me in between. Okay, Pavan sir. So we'll start the
Sir,
session. I welcome every participant. And it's always a very refreshing feeling to attend refresher courses and the orientation programs. It gives us the platform to increase our knowledge, increase our expertise, as well as increase points also for CAS and all. So I welcome everyone. It's a wonderful placement, wonderful morning, cold morning, chilly morning in North India.
sir.
So my session would be on MOOCs. Yes, sir, any problem?
No, sir.
Okay. So I would request participants keep your mute. I'll be keeping the question answer session towards the end where you can discuss with me. In fact, discuss with me, I would say, all the issues, all the relevant requirements that we'll be requiring for MOOCs, for Moodle and all. I'll be discussing about Moodles also towards the end. Some of you might be familiar, some of you might not be familiar with this, but it's my promise that after 1 hour, 20 minutes, you would be having sufficient gain from the session. So my session today I have chosen, as I said, keeping everyone in. I could have taken AI, I could have taken on deep learning, I can also most of have benefited out of this. So my choice has been in consultation with Pavan sir. So MOOCs is the next generation learning platforms. So massive online courses that every organization now is offering. Now let's talk about COVID. We all know that COVID hit very hard, and the classes, the classroom teaching interrupted for over a year now from Feb to Feb. I think it's been 1 year of disruption, but thankfully, the technology hasn't let us down. Technology has kept it in touch with the courses. Technology has helped us to grow ourselves during this time. We all, as teachers, as resource persons, we have been involved with FDPs, lots of FDPs, lots of workshops. So as teachers, I think we have gained a lot during this 1 year. We have taught, and we have been the true warriors of COVID, where other the medical warriors and other personnel, we have been there imparting education to the entire world. So it's throughout the world that the situation has been the same. The classes have been online, and we have been taking lots of pain. It's not 9 to 5 anymore. It's like anytime during the day, the students wish they talk to you on WhatsApp. They say, please tell this topic. I want to learn more. So we have been taking the classes round the clock, and it's been wonderful experience for every one of us. So out of 42, 45 participants, everyone would agree with me that it has been very enriching experience during the COVID times. However, whatever we'll say, it has been very hard period, but teachers have benefited in terms of knowledge gain. So if you look at my screen, my presentation outline would be scattered through these points. We'll be looking at the evolution of MOOCs, where MOOCs have gained popularity, where they evolved, how they started, what was the need to start, who was the inventor, who did the first MOOC presentation. Then the types of architectures we'll be talking. What are the types of MOOCs? There are three types of MOOCs we'll be discussing. The C MOOCs, the X MOOCs, and the hybrid MOOCs. So we'll be talking on the architecture. That is again a very important architecture that you have been discussing. So I'll discuss a lot on architecture. Then we'll be talking about developing and running applications, how we are developing, how we are making use of Moodle. Moodle is one platform where we are building our learning management systems, LMS, and we have been successful, in fact, in implementing now. And in my university, we have been working on a Moodle, which is now even conducting exams. Uh, Not only online exams, but the exams just like the offline exams, where there are objective questions, there are subjective questions also. Then we'll be talking on SWAM platform, the platform that is Indian platform of MOOCs. We all are familiar with this word SWAM. Just type SWAM in a Google URL, and you will find the entire information about SWAM, which are the MOOC courses which have been uh, forwarded by the UGC, by the AICT, they have been recommended. Then we'll be talking on the MOOCs statistics, how MOOCs have evolved over the years, how they are popular, how billion users have gained access to it, how they are enrolled. And towards the end of my session, we'll be keeping a discussion or a Q&A, questions and answers. So if you have any questions, you'll be asking me. Otherwise, I'll be putting some inputs to you. So it will be a session which will be scattered, and there'll be lots of things that will be new to you. There would be lots of things which will be, you would say that we already know, but it's good to learn new technologies. We are in terms of COVID, I think COVID has just necessitated this. We have to take this forward. There's no going back. And with the latest strain found in England, I think this COVID will continue for another 6 months or a year. And we'll have to be attentive. We'll have to keep that same distance, social distancing, and then the parameters that we have been following. So if you look at the screen, you find technology in education, how we are using technology in education. If you look at the left-hand side, we are talking about distance education. Distance education has been one of the mediums that our education industry has been following over the years. IGNU has been one of those frontline universities imparting distance education, and they have been successful with MBA. They have been even successful with MCAs, and they are now into PhD courses also. So they have been successful. So how distance education came across, how they used it, they use postal delivery, they use electronic storage and delivery. Then the online courses they started, and web-based storage and delivery. So On the left-hand side, you'll find how distance education works. Your course, where your course material is being delivered to you through postal services, then it can be electronic storage and delivery. We can have online classes, then the web-based storage and delivery, which we are all finding. If you look at the right-hand side, then I'll come to the middle of the screen. If you look at the right hand side, we are talking about the classroom education, the education that we are familiar with, the education that we have been doing and doing all these 20 years. We have been teaching like this. So it's a linear delivery where we are, one teacher is there and 30 students, 40 students, 50 students are there. So the ratio is you have a linear delivery, one is to many. Then we can have non-linear delivery. Now, in classroom education only, we have a new term, which is blended education, blended classroom, the flipped classroom. So these are all terms that are being used. We'll be talking on them as the slides progresses, as the session progresses. We'll be talking on blended learning. We'll be talking on flipped classrooms, flipped learning. So these are all new terms that are coming across, even in classroom teaching. Then there are virtual classes and labs. How many of us are now using Google Classroom for our virtual class? We can make a class in Google Classroom and then we are using that. Why not we make the same system for our own universities, for our own departments, for our own colleges? And if we can make that, there are some colleges in Delhi which are following those uh, own classes, and they have been successful. They have been wonderful delivery of sessions and wonderful exams. So somehow my university also was lacking for exams, but we are working on exam module, and successfully this time we are conducting exams also through this LMS. So if you look at the middle of the screen, I'll try to tell you how we progressed education, and it's a minute. So if you look at 1439, it was a moving printing press. This moving printing press moved across the entire cities. They moved across to metros, then to villages, and there it was a moving printing press. And those who were interested, they just contacted this press. They tried to study some material, try to get in touch. It was 1439, long back. Then 1920 was a revolution where radio came in, and with radio, there were radio sessions, there were radio tutorials, which started to come. And if you still remember Akashvani and all, there were lots and lots of program on Akashvani, which we used to listen. Of course, new generation doesn't know about it, but those who are in 40s or mid 40s, we all understand how Akashvani used to work, how there were sessions on Akashvani, on Doordarshan. If you look at 1950s, the revolution was television. So then the teaching shifted to television also. So if you remember, you're using your black systems, your black TVs. I still remember my black and white TV, and there were classes from UGC, there were classes from other regional colleges, and there were lots of sessions which we used to watch with a lot of delight. Like I took one session, I just studied one session on physics, and it was such a mm, learning experience that I started following my physics tutorials from the television itself, from the UGC sites. I used to follow when the sessions will come, and it helped me tremendously. So it was about moving press, radio, television, then computers, and computers have really changed everything. So 1960s, when there were the mainframes, then the mini computers and all, they started to come in and they started to conquer the world. And apart from the business applications, apart from the other applications, application packages that they were using, computers started working in field of education also. So 1982, we started having removable storage. It again started. Now we can move our hard disk. We can take data in pen drives. We can we started taking data, in fact, at that time in floppy drives. And we were so happy with floppy drives. I mean, most of you must be familiar with floppy drive. Floppy drives are non-existent now with the pen drives and all. And we used to be so happy taking the data on the pen drive and going across to our parents and telling them, today we have brought the entire data, the entire class in the floppy drives and all. So then 1990s, PCs came up. PCs, in fact, came before in 80s, but then laptops started coming into the market. Laptops then revolutionized everything, and there was a revolution kind of a thing. And with laptops now, every one of us own a laptop, and with online education, with COVID times, now in one home you will find 3 or 4 laptops because there are more than one member in a family, and everyone is busy. I'm busy, my wife would be busy, my children are busy, so everyone is there on the laptops attending to the sessions. The bandwidth that we require now, the requirements have gone manifold now. So so even the mobiles that we are using, the smartest of phones we are using, even we are doing everything on our smartphones also. So there are so many times when I'm driving and I get a session, the student says, sir, your class is there, you haven't reached in college due to jam. And I start taking my lectures from the mobile itself. So that is the kind of progress that has come across. 2000, you'd find it is internet, and internet we are all using. So even a small kid now knows how to operate internet, how to open the sites, how to use the material selectively. Then 2008, it was social media, and social media has kicked the total storm. Politicians, whether it's the educationist, whether it's a businessman, everyone is interested in social media with the terms big data, with the term data analytics and all. Education has taken a giant leap forward. And then, of course, last word you find virtual reality is changing education in a big way. When we say virtual reality, we'll be discussing about the architecture of this also in terms of MOOCs, where everything now is on your palm. With your mobile, it's there on the palm top. You can now just walk across and you can access any material, educational material in the world, and it is at your disposal. Then you'll at the bottom part of the screen you'll find it is written 2011 saw the starting up of MOOCs, saw the advent of MOOCs, and MOOCs gained popularity from 2011. So this slide has been discussing about how we have progressed. We had distance education with us, we have classroom education, then we in technology wise we have moved forward from the moving printing press towards the virtual reality. You all understand virtual reality better now because our kids, they are playing games on virtual reality. At any mall that you go, you're finding the virtual reality platforms. There you are sitting in those cabins and you are just feeling the type of applications, the type of adventures in virtual reality. So same part has been utilized by education also. So I take across to the next slide. So how MOOCs evolved? MOOCs are basically connectivist learning and teaching modules. It started with a research project on networked learning. So it was first started by Stephen Dovens and George Simmons. They started a course on connectivism and connective knowledge. So there they thought, why not engage more people on the internet? Why not engage people on? So now they had, if you remember, now a location is not a problem anymore. I can join my class from Delhi, I can join my class from Bihar, I can join my class from Jammu Kashmir, I can join my class from Kanyakumari. So that is the advent, that is the kind of technology that has taken us. So the first MOOCs evolved was from the research project, it was network learning. Stephen Dovens was the first one who started with this in May 6, 2010. We'll discuss more on that. So MOOCs is working, spreading like this. Let me first take you to the history of MOOCs, then I'll again explain more on this. Then we'll switch on to the architecture, which is the most important part of the presentation today. And then I'll even link it with Moodle, with learning softwares that how to make them. And there I'll give you the insight also. So if you look at the history of MOOCs, as I said, a research project on network learning by Stephen Dovens and George Siemens. It was a course on connectivism and connective knowledge. Then 2011, Professor Sebastian and Professor Andrew No of Stanford University decided to open their popular courses to the world. Now you can enroll to the courses which are even from the other parts of the world, not only India, you are enrolling from the courses. 2012, if you just see on the screen, saw the names coming up as MOOC platform, EDX, Future, UK, iVersity, etc. They emerged as MOOCs platform. And now these are the platforms that you'll find everywhere on the internet. You find you're working on the internet and some advertisement comes up for the Coursera, some advertisement comes for Udacity and all. So these are the kind of platforms which are offering courses to you. And it's like, I want to learn something on neural networks. I'll just buy that part. I'll just learn that part. It's like going to an ice cream parlor and asking for the flavor of ice cream. And he says, we have these and these flavors of ice cream. And you order your flavor of ice cream, you pay for it, and then you eat it. Similar is the case with MOOCs. There are loads and loads of courses being offered. You will just select what you want to learn. So instead of going studying all 24 papers in MCA or 24 papers in MTech or 20 papers, 30 in advanced MBA, we are not. Whatever we are interested for, these are important because we might be interested about learning about supply chain management or and we take it and then we get the certificate on that. So this is the benefit of it. I'll be discussing more benefits on the next slides. 2012, as I said in the other slides also, saw the year of the MOOCs. 2012, it was a year of the MOOCs. And if you look at 2019 now, if you look at it, there are 900 universities, there are 11,400 courses, 101 million MOOCs learners. 2020, the count is even more. So the data that I have picked up has been from 2019 data sources. So there are 900 universities and they're doing wonderful tasks in imparting MOOCs education. There are 11,000 over 11,000 courses being offered, and there are 101 million over that now. The count has even increased twice, I'd say twice, in times of COVID. And COVID, when hit us, there was no other alternative but to learn. And we have been making use of all these platforms. I'll discuss more on Indian platforms, SWAM also, how it works, how we can develop it. Before that, just a moment on, as I said in the first slide, we'll be talking on types of MOOCs. So when we have the concept, we have the types also. C MOOCs is the first one that came up, connectivist MOOCs. It started with the connections. We are connected through the internet. We are connected through, let's say I'm sitting in Nigeria, I'm sitting in America, I'm sitting in India. We are connected and we can have the contents. It was unstructured. Participants take up the dual role as teacher and learner, and it was a network learning. But here, there were some disadvantages, which I'll try to cover on the next one. Then came the extended MOOCs. Extended more on this. The best example of XMOOCs was, the first one was MITx Introduction to Computer Science using Python. And there were 1.2 million enrollments till 2018 to this course, which came from across the world. Everyone was interested that some course is very popular. One of the course is very important. It's very popular. Why not join this? And people started joining this like anything. And there are now 1.2 million enrollments in this course till 2018. So when we say extended or customized MOOCs is XMOOC. It is structured in nature. We develop the course material properly. Now we adapt it to specific requirements, which part of the country, which part of the world requires what. So we started to focus on it. We focus on knowledge duplication and transfer. We managed and mediated. There was instructor involved. It started with instructor-centric approach. So university courses, skill development courses run like a classroom course, or maybe on a demand course. We want on this. We leave a message like we want this course, and the course is started on your demand. So XMOOCs has been very popular. CMOOCs was the start of this concept. then XMOOCs brought us even to a bigger horizon. If you are coming here for refresher program, how did you come across to this center for refresher? It's a wonderful center, I would say. I've been following this MHRD center, a wonderful center for refresher courses where you come and take the different courses, the courses that they're offering. You choose one of those courses, like I want the refresher course in this stream. I want the refresher course in this. I want a multidisciplinary refresher course. So we are trying to take this according to our requirements, according to our expertise, how we want. So first one was CMOOCs, then the XMOOCs is the second type of MOOCs, and the third one, this is the hybrid MOOC. So the third type of MOOCs is a hybrid MOOC. It's a collection, it's a combination of XMOOC plus CMOOC. So hybrid MOOCs involve cooperations among MOOC participants to introduce and create new resources online platforms and social network. It is the integration of these new sources with the previous teacher-led course material. So the integration of both focuses on knowledge transfer and knowledge creation. So here we are creating knowledge based on the requirements also, an approach to address low rate for massive online courses. So this is the part where just a minute pause on this. We'll be discussing now. This is the basic part of MOOCs, the architecture of MOOCs. So here we'll be taking them step by step, and then we'll be discussing on this. So every concept has architecture, and here we have the architecture. So just a moment. I'll just take a moment break. Just a moment break. Please bear with me. Just a moment. Sorry, water break. Mm. So if you look at this architecture, this is one of those architectures which are followed by our Indian government also. This has been taken from SWAM. This is architecture. If you look, please start from the bottom of the screen. So educational resources. This is a component of MOOCs. So whenever we are going for any MOOCs, we are planning for MOOCs implementation. We'll first be going for educational resources. We have to develop educational resources. We'll have to properly examine them. We'll have to verify them. We have to call experts, and we'll get them recommended from the experts. There are always, of course, you all are government officers, you're all government teachers. We all know that is a board of studies, and then accreditation boards and all, and through which the syllabus goes for approval. So once it goes for approval, the educational courses, they are developed. It takes a lot of time to develop a MOOC, I would say. We'll be discussing on this. What are the limitations and what are the challenges when we are designing the educational resources? So there are lots and lots of challenges which we'll be discussing in future slides. In the preceding slides, we'll discuss on that. So first component of architecture is educational resources. They have to be built, they have to be managed, and once created, they have to be distributed among the different sources. So there is a kind of users, those who have enrolled for the courses, they'll be contacted. So we'll be discussing on slide by slide, we'll be going across this. So first component is educational resources. Then second starts the interactions. To whom would we like to interact? We would like to interact with the people who want interaction from us, who want knowledge from us, who are contacting. I want to take a Python course. I want to take a HR course. I want to take a course on physics. I want to take a course on chemistry. I want to take a course on organic chemistry. So now the interaction starts. The user, the students, the users, or the clients, now they want courses from you. So they'll interact with you. And once they put up the query on the website or on the mobile and they put the query, immediately you mail them back. You send WhatsApp messages back. So you try to get back to them. You were looking for this course such and such day. So are you still interested? We are offering such and such courses in this stream. So last day I just incidentally just clicked something, creating a dashboard using Python. And then I have been getting so many calls since yesterday. I've been getting, please enroll for this course. We are offering dashboard creation in this. We'll help you make even the customized dashboard for you. So such is the kind of awareness now. Interaction now will hold uh, lot of let's say the criteria would be the interactions have to be there, two-way interaction between what the users want from you and what educational institutions we want for them. And I tell you, users, they come up with a lot of vigor, lot of enthusiasm to join a course. But if your university, if your center is not giving them what they want from you, then I tell you, the interest dies. And out of 100 enrollments, I would say, if there are 100 enrollments, and if you're not giving them what they want, what material they want, what interaction they want, what expertise they want, 50 will drop out in the first month itself. And then at the end of 6 months, if I say, I would find there are hardly 10 or 12 students who continued the course from the lot of 100 students. So if you want out of 100, 90 or 95 should qualify the course and should go across and continue. So there you will have to give the quality education. You will have to now impart the education that the users would find, this is better than a classroom reading. This is better than what we'll search from the internet. This would be better. It will save time for us. It will be very futuristic interaction courses and all. So if education resources, if planned properly, the interactions will have to be proper. It has to be two-way. Now, once the interaction starts, the course starts, you start imparting education, the students start taking the education, taking the classes, taking the test, taking the quizzes. Now the third component of MOOC comes up, and that is the assessment and evaluation. So we are all teachers, we all know what assessment is. We are giving the students the assessment sheets, then the students are filling them up, they're coming with their answers, we are evaluating those answers. Fine. So one of the component of MOOCs is assessment and evaluation. So if we are designing for a course of MOOCs, we'll have to develop a very good system for assessment and evaluation. As I said, we create Google Forms, and you must have taken FDPs and all. And towards the end of FDP or the refresher course, I'm sure you will also be having an exam after the refresher course. So once you take that quiz after the refresher is complete, you take a quiz, and when you click the last question of the sheet on the system, you get the score also. Out of 20, you scored 18. Out of 20, you scored 11. Out of 20, you scored 13. So immediately you get the response also. So this is the kind of response that this generation wants from us. We have to be quick in evaluation. Now, if we talk about 10 years back or 15 years back or 5 years back, we used to get copies from the universities to evaluate. We used to have bundles, and those bundles, we used to check 5 copies in a day, 6 copies in a day. And after 1 month, we used to take those bundles back to the university. And then going back to this university, we will submit them, we submit the marks, but it takes a duration, 1 month, 2 months, 2 months. And the students now are very smart. So now, since the world is smart, we are talking of smart cities, we're talking of smart technologies, everything is smart. Why not make the education smart? So this is a step, MOOCs is a step towards making education smart. So we want to make something, if we click, we get something. So with every session, we get something. With every, we getting everything. भैया जरा हल्के से बोलिए, क्लास चल रहा है. So sorry. So if you look at the third architecture of this, assessment and evaluation. So assessment and evaluation will be done. Fourth, identity management. This module is again one of the fundamental modules of MOOCs, where identity has to be managed. like you're enrolling with your name, and once you enroll with your name, you get a password also. So that password will be used by only you, only record, only you would be able to see the contents. Not everyone can see your contents, what you are learning, what you're getting. As I said, it's like an ice cream which you buy. So you buy a course from the MOOCs, and then you get the identity and a password where you will be using them to log in. And it's a different thing that we in India, we always talk of jugaad, we always talk of things to get into the system. I'll give my ID to my friend will give that ID to someone else, and he looks at the contents and everything. So that's what happens. That's like a jugaad. But then if we ethically we follow the MOOCs material, the MOOCs concept, the principles, it is like one person, one account, and then you get that material on that, you get the quizzes on that, you get your own scores on that. So you will have to be ID with the username and a password. Fifth step again, very important, it's learning analytics. As I said, analytics is not safe now. Analysis, if going to farm, you're going to agriculture, it is agricultural analytics. You're trying to find out what soil is good for us, what areas are good for growing wheat, what areas are good for growing rice, what areas are good for growing cauliflower and all. Everywhere analytics, how much water is there in the soil. If I take this analytics, it's data analytics, business analytics. In business analytics, we're talking about marketing analytics, which product has to be launched, which has to be disrupted, which product is favorable in Punjab, which product is good in Kanyakumari, and analytics. Similarly, air analytics, similarly, data analytics, big data analytics. Everywhere we are finding analytics. Now, what is the role of analytics here? Now, there is a very big role of analytics in books also. Now, when I say the benefits, advantages would be like how many students are enrolling from India, how many students enroll from Sri Lanka, which course are getting hit in Nigeria, what are the places which are war-torn areas like Syria. Syria had a lot of enrollments for MOOCs and all MOOC courses because there were war over there. There were war in other countries also where students had to stay home and go for education. So Syrian students did very well. In fact, they have been even doing BTech from our university, MTech from our university. They're sitting there and attending everything. So that is a kind of learning phase. So analytics will have to figure out what courses the students are liking more, which courses the students are not taking at all. So let's concentrate on courses which are very popular, which are getting a hit. Python course is a big hit with MOOCs. It's like deep learning, AI is a big hit. So if we just increase the demographic location, change that and try to talk. So it is one of the components of MOOCs. You are working a lot on analytics, and finally it's a certificate. So all of you after the end of refresher course will get a certificate which will be you have attended this for a month or 15 days or 21 days, and this certificate will finally be used when you will fill your test files, when you will fill your promotion criteria agenda. You will be using the certification. So this is the advantage of having a courses like this. Now MOOCs will help you learn different courses. University can offer limited courses. Here MOOCs are offering you unlimited courses. Courses after courses are there. You just take a module of that course, study, get a certificate. So if you look at the left hand side of the screen, MOOCs educational online event equivalent to conducting face-to-face in a class. It's similar simulation. It's a simulation like a teacher is teaching you and you're sitting there in the class looking at the teacher. The teacher is there on the cam. Sometimes, as I requested, my bandwidth has been very slow today. So sometime my picture must be there. So it runs over the MOOCs period. There is always a MOOC period, 6 months course or a 2 month course or a 15-day capsule program. So there is always a duration of a MOOC and involves carrying out the management of activities related to MOOC win. So this is the architecture of MOOCs. This is important. We'll discuss more on this when we take SWAM. We'll talk about our own framework, Indian framework. So As I said, this is one of the factors in architecture. This is one of the building blocks of architecture, educational resources. There are always challenges in arranging educational resources. There are always like incomplete things can never be put in the on the board. So we'll have to get the educational resources, instructor-led material. So it's always a big challenge to do it. And the challenge is like the information has to be integrated, the education resources have to be integrated, they have to be accurate, and you can never put a wrong concept on that. So while designing this, it will always be a very big challenge to develop educational resource. It takes time. So we invite the authors, we invite different professionals from the university, we make a team, we make a board of team, and then there is a meeting after every 15 days. We are developing this, and these are the contents, and it goes through a proper screening. So this screening is done by the universities and the panels and all, and they come up with wonderful resources. I tell you, if you look at these resources, you just don't feel like reading the books after that. But as I say, as I said, books are the most important medium of education. So please don't ever replace your books with these internet materials, because the students, what they're doing right now, I go for viva, I go for interviews, and whichever student I ask, which book have you recommended for this, and they will say internet sources. So internet sources, internet material is never a replacement for books. The best knowledge you will gain, the best knowledge will be from the books itself. You will have to study the books, you will have to get it. So the challenge before MOOCs is getting the educational resources accurate enough, like books, with the references, with lots of examples, lots of videos, in fact, in between. So if you look at this, educational resources, instructor-led educational resources, so converting classroom activities to online resources will be a challenge. If you look on the right-hand side, coverage extent of activities, you have to cover every activity that a teacher, that the instructor performs in an online class, in a real class, effectiveness of online version, transfer of knowledge. Is there a personal bonding? Are we excited enough? Okay, people will read our course, people will accept this. Is there a personal bonding? Behavioral changes can be there. A person can be very excited about the course, very fear. Some of you might not be very comfortable with that. I'm not comfortable on the system, I'm unable to read on the system, but a few will say, we like the system, we like the change. So we'll have to pacify everyone, we'll have to impress everyone, we'll have to come up with a realization, like we'll have to explain everyone what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages. So that's what we are trying to cover up in the session today. So if you look at this slide also, the challenges in arranging the educational resources. If you look at the bottom of the diagram, addressing learners diversity. So the biggest challenge is addressing learners' diversity. Someone may be from China, someone may be from Yemen, someone is from Muscat, someone is from India, someone is from, let's say, Sri Lanka, from Pakistan, from other parts of the world. Languages are different, cultures are different, knowledge level is different. Indian brains are the best brains, you will agree with me. So what we think, what our India thinks, is better than the other parts of the world. But the part is that Indians have fewer facilities. So most of us reside in villages. We struggle for the resources. We struggle for the backbone. If you just minus geo from our connectivity, if you just minus geo from the connectivity right now, the 50% of the part of us would be without internet connectivity. So because we have not been able to put up broadbands and all, like at every places, if you go to other countries, you would find internet everywhere, optical fibers everywhere. Sorry for a moment. So you look at again on this diversity factors on the left hand side, you'll have to talk about, address the backgrounds. The learning aptitude is always different from other in different parts of the world. The communication skills, they are different. Some countries at all. When you are writing your material, when you are teaching them, when you're imparting education, you will have to get across to all the enrolled participants. Someone can be very good in English. Right now, we are 40, 45 students. Someone of you will be very good in Hindi. If you take the lecture in Hindi, I may not be able to understand a few words. Then there are some people who struggle with English, who find one or two words. Pata nahi sir ne kya bola, what was a word he used. So it can be like communication skills are always different. The skills are different. Like say, some people will talk with the pauses. Someone are very fast enough. So you'll have to understand okay, what participants want from you, whether they want you to modulate the voice. Some of the speakers they come up and they just shout on the speakers and all. They never go for modulation. So the modulation is one of those very important tasks where you'll have to modulate according to your participants, according to their skills. So when I teach in my class, there are few students from the villages also. So somewhere down the line, after 4 lines, I summarize that those 4 sentences in one line of Hindi also. So it doesn't take away my standard ke sir at a university level is teaching in Hindi. No, it's for the everyone to understand. So I'm summarizing those 4 sentences in one sentence of Hindi also, and it makes me comfortable also. The students become comfortable. They at the end of the session they come and they tell me, sir, this is I understood from that line of Hindi only, or this is the part that I didn't understand. So please explain. So then the next point, slow and fast learners are always a possibility. I may be a very slow learner, you may be a very fast learner. In fact, at the age of 17, 18, or 20, we are at the top of learning capacity. And at the age that I am in, 43, now my mental power also and my learning power also, my memory also is deteriorating. So what I was at 18, I'm on the downward slide now. So the users are never it's never a what say you say it's never a compulsion that all of your participants, all the students will be from 18 to 20, 18 to 25. Even older people might want to enroll for your course, might want to pursue a course, and they are slow learners. Then you'll have to design the educational resources according to these learners also. So there might be slow learners, there might be fast learners, and this is the biggest advantage of MOOCs. That MOOC is an education which goes according to your pace. So whatever you demand, as I said, we demand the ice cream, we ask for ice cream. Similar with MOOCs, we want to learn a course, and this that course will go according to our pace, at the pace that we are learning. So it doesn't happen with classroom teaching at times where the teacher is very fast, teacher is very high fight kind of a teacher, and 50% understands the course, 50% doesn't understand. Now those 50% who didn't understand, they will ask the friends, yaar samjha de mujhe bhi. So we study from that point, or they follow some other medium to understand that topic. Then the workload, the course plan, progression, duration of the educational resources. So educational resource design is always a very big challenge while designing any MOOC in the world. So educational resources, as I said, it's from moving from a video lecture recording is always very difficult. We are scripting for a video lecture. You have to make a proper arrangement, a proper, let's say, auditioning is done, proper steps are taken, and then you get a quality session that is to be telecast on Doordarshan or telecast on TV or telecast on internet. So not all courses can be published on internet. If the universities will only sanction those courses which are quality wise, which are good, content wise they are good. So while designing a MOOC, this is another part of the presentation now. So how do we go along designing a MOOC? Architecture was fine, architecture. Now how do we design this? So if you look on the oval that is on the left hand side, these are the objectives of designing a MOOC. Learning, we want learning from this. We want supervised learning, we want unsupervised learning. Those who are familiar with AI, supervised learning and unsupervised learning is the concept there. Now when I say supervised, this is in presence of a teacher. A teacher or an instructor is always there. It can be like they just follow the click the button, and then the presentations, they are just coming, they are studying, and the quiz comes up, they are following, the participants are attempting a quiz. But if there are instructors, if you post some query and that query is answered, then the learning will have to be. So we are going for a learning where we want to design for both kind of learnings. It can should be supervised, can be supervised also, it can be unsupervised also. The knowledge transfer from the experts, from the source expert sources to the MOOC platform. So knowledge transfer has to be very smooth. It has to be quality knowledge that has to be transferred. Skill development we are working on. Okay, our objective is after the MOOC course that we attend, our skills develop, our skills sharpen. We become a better expert. We become a better professional. We become a better person after the course. So learning, knowledge transfer, skill development, then critical thinking. What objective we are aiming at? We think we want to follow the same Gita Pita structure. If we want to follow, take a course, follow the course, attend, we don't follow. So now what you have learned, that learning have to be imparted to the other part of the world. As a teacher, you learn something, now you're
सर
imparting to your
सर
students.
वॉइस साफ नहीं आ रही सर, वॉइस ब्रेक हो रही है बीच बीच में।
ओके मैम, मैं एक बार फिर से, अभी भी नहीं आ रही मैम?
सर अभी
सर
सही
बीच
आ रही
बीच
है।
में ही हो रही है, वैसे साफ आ रही है बट कभी कभी बीच बीच में ब्रेक हो रही है सर।
अच्छा सर, मैं कोशिश करता हूँ एक बार फिर से उसको वो
जी
करने
अभी
की।
वैसे क्लियर है।
मैंने कहा जी
जी
ठीक है सर, मैं कोशिश करता हूँ इसको और अपने पास रखता हूँ मुंह के,
राइट।
तो मैं कोशिश करता हूँ। सो सॉरी कि हाँ इंटरनेट सर थोड़ा सा स्लो वैसा हो रहा है,
जी जी
तो प्लीज बेयर विद मी। मैं ये स्लाइड्स, आई विल बी शेयरिंग दी स्लाइड्स आल्सो, I'll be giving my mail ID also. So wherever you would want any help from me for your institutions also, if you want to develop a learning module, you can always contact and we'll work on that simultaneously in collaboration. So if you look at the left hand side, these were the objectives for designing a MOOC. And then if you look at the right hand side, we'll have to learn the theories. How do we do it? Instructional design models and theories, media communication theories, all these will have to be taken into consideration. So interactions, as I said, this is another part of that architecture. We will be having interaction in MOOCs. Interactions will have to be two-way. Now, if you look at this rectangle, which is in blue color, large number of participants is an issue. So one of the issues in MOOCs is a large number of participants. There can be 100, there can be 1,000, there can be even lack of participants attending as participants to your course. So large number of participants while designing a MOOC, you should always be keeping in mind that we can have a large number of, instead of just 60 students sitting in the class, we have now a large presence of participants. Then unorganized discussions and presentations. Now there are times when the discussions, they are unorganized. Now if I am teaching on MOOCs today, if someone asks me some question related to MOOCs but from some other field, I'll have to answer that question, because you're taking me as one expert where you think I know everything. Now if I'm taking a program on AI, if I'm taking a program on supply chain management, you would know sir knows everything. So your questions will not be only the questions that uh, I think, I assume that these are the quizzes that you may ask me. No, your questions can be very different. Your questions can be very awkward at times. So in a MOOCs, it is thousands of students and they can pose you any question. So when they will pose you different questions from different part of the world, it is a very unorganized discussion, and then the questions are very unorganized, and you will have to prepare in such a way that you should be able to come out of that with the students giving you a very good feedback, because you answered your questions correctly, you satisfied the students correctly. So conducted by different teaching assistants, offline interactions with the peer groups are always there. Now when we take these kind of courses, as I said, I'll give you my mail ID, I'll give you my WhatsApp number. So these interactions, they even continue after the class. It happens so many times. I'm teaching computer graphics and I taught the algorithm, and then the students are just constantly pinging me and they're just trying to get in touch. Sir, my algorithm is not working correctly. The circle is not being made. Circle is distorted. The line is distorted. So even at 2 a.m. in the night, they are contacting. Now, this is the kind of thing that you'll have to keep in mind, that MOOCs is a very different platform where this is no longer a 9 to 5 job. You'll have to satisfy. There might be a question popping on your screen. Once you think everything is over, now I'll go to a sleep, and there's a question, and you have to answer that. So planning interactions. So this is the last line. If you read, planning interactions with a large diverse group is a very big challenge. It's a large diverse group. Someone from Nigeria, someone from America, someone from China, and the knowledge levels are also very different. So Indians, as I said, we are at a level where we teach the world. So we are able to answer very nicely. But then if you have to explain something to someone who understands at a slower pace, it's a challenge. So if you look at the rectangle which is there in pink color, most important characteristics of MOOCs versus online, it has to be real time. Students cannot wait for reply of their questions. So synchronous interactions at any scheduled time, you give the time and then the session starts. So just as we are having a session right now, I had to log in at 10:30. I can't log in at 11:30 because the scheduling that has been done, you will be following, you'll be waiting for me at 10:30. So I was 4 minutes late. But then if I had been late till 11, everyone must have looked at the watch here. What is this? I enrolled for this course and the teacher is not even sincere enough to turn up. So these are the kind of challenges that will always be there. So if you looked at the MOOCs architecture, when we discussed about it, there was a discussion on identity management. We'll have to identify and authenticate the student. We'll have to honor the code and self-regulation ethics will have to be followed. As I said, it's a self-regulation. As a student, I can pass my credentials to other students. Okay, you can have this session, you can read them, just study from this. But please, when you enroll for these courses, please be very ethical. Don't go for improper practices. Don't give your IDs and passwords to someone else to study for free, because it reduces the value of the course. If you're doing something from Coursera, from Udacity, from Swim, it is for your standard. Your standard is rising. So why give it for free to others? So that those ethical issues will always be coming in picture. So please always maintain that. So they will be keeping the identity management, and we'll have to keep the ethics on top of that. Then the assessment evaluation, which is another part of architecture. So online versus offline examinations, how they will be conducted, whether it's the offline or the offline. Now, this is the biggest question. This is where I feel during the COVID times, we have failed completely. We were taken by surprise, I would say. We never expected COVID to come like this. The classes disrupted, college disrupted, total lockdowns. But then we haven't been able to take examinations according to what the things should have been there. Even CBSE is unable to conduct exams. They have postponed it till May. Now they're still deciding how to do it, how to go for only objective questions or to go for subjective questions, and how to do it all over the country, all over the world, how you're planning for the board exams. So this is somewhere where we were slow to anticipate, but thank God we have been coming out of this. We have all the universities now. We are planning we have even in fact designed our own systems now. So whatever come, whatever may, we will be having exams through those systems in our own campuses, and it's a successful. We have gone for the demo exam of the backlog and all, and the system it gave 100% accuracy. So this is where I think we succeeded. All of us are succeeding. In fact, after a year, we have learned from this. Then proctored examinations, grading of large number of assignments. Assignments, when you take these courses, there are large number of assignments, and then there is always the assessment and evaluation. It was always a big task. Analytics, as I said, it's a real-time big data on diverse learner groups. So big data again is a word coming here. And when we talk about big data, if you're familiar with big data will always have a velocity. It will come at a very high speed, veracity, where it is different types of concepts coming. So the variety and the velocity is so high for big that we'll have to adapt according to this real-time data, the real-time diverse groups. So we'll have to keep learning. We'll have to keep incorporating changes into the system. So if we are able to learn from one batch, like these were the drawbacks, and if we can incorporate them immediately, that's where agile computing or software engineering is coming into picture. So now you don't have to wait for the life cycles of 6 months or a year to make the changes. Now the agile changes, they go across, they take very fast. Within 10 days, if something is happening on one platform, the other platform, it is automatically updated. Like if you see something on Netflix, it will get incorporated on Hotstar very shortly. It doesn't take 6 months to change. Now it is a very short cycle of 7 days, 15 days, is Scrum and all. It's a basically a very small period of discussions now. So whenever we are talking about velocity and veracity, now the things will get according to the challenges. So automatic feedback on courses, contents, lectures that you get, educational research, analytics will have to be done. Which part is not performing? We have to get across those parts. Then which areas are not enrolling? Let's put more advertisement to those countries. Let's put more concentration on those. The ones which are doing very good, which are enrolling, let's have a consistent pattern of that. So analytics would be performed, and at the end of it, as just as in a refresher course, you will be getting the certificate. So similarly, at the end of the month, after the evaluation, successful evaluation, you get a certificate for the course. So these were the challenges that discussed. Other challenges can be like, if you look at the screen, there are other challenges. The low student retention and completion rate is there. So low student retention and completion, as I said, there can be 100 enrollments initially, and then when 100 enrollments are there, the completion is only 10 students completed the course because we were not able to follow it up with the enthusiasm, with the kind of vigor that we had to. So the students were not satisfied. After some time, they said, yeah, course SEA, we are not getting anything, and they just drop out from the course. So if you look at the university system where they submit everything, where they're submitting all the documents and they complete enroll for the courses, even there 4 or 5 students back out of the course, citing they're getting admission at other places, they're getting other things, whatever. But these MOOC courses, the student retention and a completion rate is low. And this is because if we haven't been able to do good from our front, if we haven't been able to impart quality knowledge, then this is one of the issues, one of the challenges which we have to improve. And over a period of time, this has improved to 50-50 now. The 50 enrollments being put across, which complete, and the 50% which doesn't complete. The second point, if you look at this, is another very important point, and it's very relevant from the Indian point of view, which is digital literacy and digital divide. So as I said, our country is made up of villages. There are 60%, 70% villages. So here the digital literacy and digital divide is larger than any other country. And here our challenges are on the rise. We'll have to educate the people. We'll have to educate the mass. We'll have to educate them. And we'll have to put across and tell them, "Okay, we have to do it and you can do it also. You can take up, apart from these courses, you can go for these courses." So this is a big challenge. Then linguistic diversity is there. This is the biggest diverse problem challenge. As I said, someone can be from South India, he doesn't understand your North Indian language. Someone can be from other country, someone can be from China, Japan. So it can always be a linguistic diversity. So linguistic diversity will always play a very big challenge to the development of MOOCs, the kind of planning that we do. We'll have to keep this in mind at all sources, at all points of time. We'll have to keep across this diversity in mind. Then seamless and effortless connectivity. We need affordable connectivity. As I said, if geo is reduced, if geo is minus from our system, if we just remove geo, our connectivity drops with only the Airtel, which is having just 20-25% of users. So Geo is having right now 50 to 60% of the users. So broadband we have totally failed. If you, how many of the banks you go, you'll find आज server नहीं चल रहा है, आज ये नहीं चल रहा है. Any government office you go, today server is down. So why is the server down? Server is down because we are not able to, we are unable to connect to the server. We are unable to have it on the broadband. So the optical fibers are the solution, and optical fibers are still being laid. Will still take 4 or 5 years for entire India to be totally into a broadband mode, into a connective mode, where even if you go to the remotest part of a village and you get the connectivity. So somewhere I'm there in a UP place like Badaयूं, and here I'd find the connectivity has been very poor. So I'm struggling since last night. I've been struggling with downloading, and even with the sessions that I'm taking, I'm just compromising with the quality. So these are the kind of challenges that will always come. Emphasis on quality rather than quantity. Quality will have to be there. It has to be a very professional approach that you will have to adopt. Workload will increase, no doubt, with MOOCs, but MOOCs will give you the satisfaction. If you take one session of MOOCs, if one course of your MOOCs, if you complete successfully with your students, I tell you, the confidence that you get is tremendous, and that confidence is unmatchable, is unmatchable, and you get like you have taught about 10 years of education. That is the kind of challenge, because such diversified fields, learned people sitting here. So if I'm taking a session here, you 45 people are from your different colleges, your different professors, your different gurus. Some are management gurus, some are scientific gurus. So teaching you people is always a very big challenge, but this session will give me the confidence, 100 times confidence, that I'm teaching my students, because that is my daily routine now. I take a subject, I teach them, I change my subject after 2 semesters, I go for another subject, and then again we go across to another subject. But if we are teaching here, this is real time teaching, where I don't know your questions. You can put up any question to me. So I'll have to answer your questions. I'll have to answer. I'll have to pacify you. I'll have to make you happy with my answers also. So this is a kind of challenges here. So how to plan an academic MOOCs from academic that we do left hand side. These are the activities that we do in our real life. So these are academic courses on the left hand side which are being done, and we have to now our task is on to go on to the right hand side, where we'll have to take it to the MOOCs part. So if you look at the last line there, it is written, adaptation is a challenging part. It requires innovation. We have to be innovative. We have to think out of the box. As I said, we'll have to think out what others don't think. We'll have to think to gain market preference, to rule the market. We have to be innovative, skill oriented. We have to do the collaborations between academics and production itself. Now this is a very important word. As we say, collaboration is the new word, is a new buzzword. Now trying to collaborate with people, try to collaborate with academicians across the world. Now this is the best time for us to do it, because we are all online. We are all getting experts from other colleges from the world. So try and collaborate with them, and if they give you a problem and you solve that problem and give it back to them, there's nothing, the experience is immense. There is not a better feeling than that they have given you a real life problem, a real case problem, and you solve it, and that problem then paves the way for a greater success in your career, because you get a research problem from them, you solve it and give it back to them, and they will help you to publish your papers in the top SCI journals, ESCI journals, or UGC journals. And whenever there is a name of a foreign collaborator according alongside with you, let's say Robert Stevens, if there is a name written there, or Ahmed, something like that written, it adds to the value of your paper, because there the people will say that they're collaborating, they're working on a common platform. So this is a kind of age where please go for collaborations. Please try to now get into a group of 2 3 people, good people, learning people, who learn, you also learn, and keep on learning and learn in such a way, so that we can make this world of education a different platform. So this was about what is the architecture and how architecture is being used to develop MOOCs, how MOOCs will be favorable. Now, this is our own Indian platform. You all must have seen the posters put up in your colleges, in your universities, SWAM. You can always search it on the Google. On Google, you just search SWAM. SWAM is your MOOC platform, free online education. This is free for now. It's totally free. Go for the course, register, take 20, 25 sessions or even a smaller courses, and then take the test, certify yourself, and put up in your resume. You are SWAM certified. So integrate. This is what is SWAM then? SWAM is a natural national platform for online courses. This is now moving aside from international platforms like Coursera and Audacity and all. We are working on our own module, which is the SWAM module. So schools, undergraduate, postgraduate, engineering, law, and other professional courses. The students of these courses, they are benefiting from this. So there is a MOOC national committee and coordinators, set of coordinators. Then there are host institutions, parent institutions for credit equivalence. There are SWAM applications available for mobile access. You can always get across to the mobile and just learn from the sessions online. So this website is given, the address of the URL of the website. You can always visit this. This is one of those best efforts of this education ministry that they have done. Now, even if you take this MOOC course, you complete it, it is equivalent to your refresher course also. So you get some points on this also into your CAS file. So for a teacher, for academicians, I think this is one of those better opportunities which are available to now to increase your points, get timely promotions, get timely. So if you look at this, look at the diagram first. So there are four quadrants in this, how SWAM works. This is again following the same architecture that we discussed 1 hour back. So this quadrants first. Quadrant 1, instructor-led materials, which are the tutorials. They are being made, they are scrutinized, they are validated, and then they are put across. So instructor-led materials. Quadrant 2, self-learning materials and e-content. Then quadrant number 3, when you say interactions and discussions. Now you study that, you look at the contents, you take the quizzes, interactions, discussion. And in the fourth quadrant, that one is the fourth quadrant. It's not, it's wrongly put as quadrant 3. This is quadrant 4. So that quadrant 4, you are assessed with quizzes, with online test, and you get the grade also. 11 out of 20 you got correct, 20 out of 20 you got correct, and you get the certificate even with the grade. You have completed your refresher program, you have completed your Python program with A plus grade. So that is a kind of services that this SWAM is doing. It is from the MHRD. So again, looking at that diagram, quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, interactions, you're being taught, then the discussions being held on those teachings, and then finally in quadrant 4, you are assessed. So assessment would be your evaluation, and finally the certification. So course design is standardized and simplified. Academic and credit courses, creation of well-defined and categorized UG, PG, technical, etc. Talent student group is known and intake of student is restricted to credit courses. Course is to be designed and run by host institute. Student of other can adopt it and examined by the NTA. So the students from your organization can follow, students from other organizations, students from other parts can take up the course and be successful with this. Students are, in fact, in this COVID times, we even gave the students, those who cleared SWAM, the MOOCs on the SWAM, we gave them credit points so that they may directly get the degree. So some of them were not able to do the project, then that project was replaced with the credits, and also they were not going along in COVID times with intermediate semesters. There were no exams, but then if the student takes up these courses, they pass these courses, the grades were given, the points were given, the marks were given. So there were lots of deliberation during past 1 year, and we have learned a lot. As I said, we all teachers learned, our students learned even more than us. So, one of those important parameters of my session is MOOCs statistics. How users have progressed over the years. On the screen, you find there were different names, popular names: Udacity, edX, Coursera, FutureLearn, Myriada, Mexico, and there's also so these are the names that are popular throughout. If I go string wise, this is Coursera. You can see on the screen. I'll give the slides to Pavan sir. Pavan sir will give it to you, and I'll give the mail ID also. Anyone interested with Moodle, how do we make a learning module, can always talk to me on the mail ID. My number can also be available. You can always get connected to make a learning module. I can always work on that with you in collaboration. So Coursera, when we say 45 million users, just imagine the kind of users that they have, the enrollments that they have. 45 million users, 3,800 plus courses, different courses, academic degrees are there, credit courses are there, specialized higher level programs are there. There are partnerships with institutions. It's a blended learning model, like it's a combination of connectivist model plus your extended model, then the local communities, peer learning, and evaluation is there. And then the payments they are done is monthly. It can be according to those EMIs that they are seeking. And finally, you get the certificate from there. And I said, I just joined in for machine learning. And this is a wonderful platform, wonderful contents. And after that, my knowledge increased tremendously. And I've just benefited from this course from Coursera. So for this, I can always say from SWAM, I cleared one test and it was again on HTML. So that again gave me that confidence. Yes, I can also do it. If the students can do it, the topper students can do it, the teachers can also do it. So as teachers, I think it's our responsibility now to get enrolled to SWAM and all, get enrolled, do the courses, and increase our resume, the weight of our resume. Our resumes will be much better with these courses, add-on courses. So edX, if we talk about edX, it was founded by Harvard University and MIT in 2012. There are 2,640 fine courses from 40 plus leading institutions. There are 24 users. This is not profit, it is course. It allows universities, sites that provide MicroMasters, professional, X series certificates they provide. Udacity, if we look at Udacity, so this is for profit educational needs. In your mails check, many advertisements are coming up once a week, twice a week, and they keep sending the mails to all the users across the world. And those who are interested, they just log in, just try and find out the credentials, and they just log in for the courses. And these are courses which are paid courses, but this has a very good standing in the market. So I talked about SWAM already. So SWAM is the Indian platform which is doing wonderfully, and we are succeeding, and our materials are getting better and better day by day. As I said, after one session is over, one batch is over, we get across, we visit across, and we find out limitations of the previous system, of the previous batch, what the other batches would want from us. We have to be futuristic. We just design the contents accordingly. So the expertise transfer is continual, and it's always going. Yeah, look at these statics. The total learners, according to me, 2019, it is from the data source. So learners, 701 million courses, 11,400 plus courses, universities, 900 plus universities, growth 20 million. If you look at graph also, in 2012, which was a start, and now 2019, 2020, if you look at graph, this graph, you look at the gray area, shows you the kind of tremendous need of books. So firstly, I would say this then so hit if you put the example so these big players in the industry, Coursera, edX, Udacity, Future, and Swim. So
सर वॉइस इज
सर
ब्रोकन.
आप
five
कुछ
more take question.
वॉइस जो है आपकी ब्रेक हो रही है सर. हेलो.
फिर से ब्रेक हुई है.
जी.
एक सर हाँ एक सेकंड फिर से मैं वॉइस का कर एक हेलो पवन भाई कुछ चेंज हुआ क्या मैंने उसका दूसरा सिस्टम चेंज किया ईयरबड्स का
जी
हेलो
पहले से बेहतर है सर.
5 more minutes I'm really sorry ये क्वालिटी की वजह से सर बैंडविड्थ की वजह से हो रहा है वो
जी जी
वॉइस
जी.
जो ब्रेक हो रही
पहले
है
से ठीक है सर. पहले से ठीक है.
जी so what are the MOOCs if we see MOOCs by discipline so these are the disciplines that we see on the screen engineering technology business mathematics arts and design medicine health humanities, social science, and the sciences. These are the disciplines which have been targeted by MOOCs successfully. And if we look at the this chart, so business 19.7, technology 19.8, mathematics 2.9. So these are the kind of uh, strength that we have gone from strength to strength in business applications, in business education, technology. MOOCs have been very popular. So they have covered around 20% of the education from there. So MOOCs, if we offer a long time learning, you'll see all these kinds of ads everywhere. So COVID times, the requirement was even more. And if we just look where we are headed for in MOOCs, what will be the future? AI and the machine-based education will be more popular now. Even we'll be using robotics incorporate into this so that the instructors they are using robotics. There are robots teaching us. So this is the first kind of AI-powered adaptive power education provider in China, which was the first one. So now the universities are also focusing on to reduce the manpower. They can get across and use machine learning AI to make the better MOOC platform. So I end my presentation here. I'm open to the questions now. I'm really sorry if the voice has troubled you throughout the session because of lower quality of internet. I'm coming to the screen. I'm thankful to all the 48 participants who have participated, who have been here. I'm sure tomorrow would be the last day and you'll be getting the certificate now from the refresher course. So any question you can unmute and can ask. Moodle is one of the platforms where we will be, which will take us across. I'm just waiting for any question to put up. In the meantime, I'm just telling you, if you search Google, just search the keyword Moodle. Moodle. Moodle is a learning platform, and this is very popular. All the organizations they are now using Moodle as a way of learning, and it's very easy to install. It's very easy to make using a Moodle to make your own learning module. So please try those who are computer savvy. If you try to make your own system for your own department, for your college, and you can always collaborate. You can always talk to me on that. I'll help you how to install Moodle, how to make a learning module so that you can have your own instead of using Google Classrooms and Google Meet work for your test and all. You can always take up the module that you yourself make, and that will be the greatest achievement that you'll feel like it is your own made system and you're conducting everything on that Moodle. So I'm just stopping my talk here. Questions मैं लूंगा उसके बाद I'll answer those questions. I'm really thankful you have listened to me very patiently even because of poor quality of internet that I have in my village today. So I'm just putting myself on silent mode so that you can speak. Thank you very much, every one of you.
Thank
You
you,
can
sir.
ask
And
the
now it is
questions.
open for all the participants. You may ask a question related to today's session to Professor Raza Khan ji. Ji, kindly switch on your videos and you may ask the questions and observations to Professor Khan.
Yeah, feel free, please. We are discussing it. Basically, these are not the questions, these are the discussions that
Yes,
we
we can
educational
observe
fraternity
it.
are facing the problems and we are discussing. Yes, sir. So if I were to ask you if anyone can unmute and tell me how you're taking your examinations right now, if I can just ask how you people, how you all are very good professors, teachers, how are we taking the exams during past 1 year? If we can share this.
Yes, Sandeep ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Sir, we are taking exams physically in person. From
Okay,
today,
so
we
you
have
have
also
started physically.
Sorry, sir.
You have started physically, the
Yes,
education
sir.
system has started. Okay.
Yes, we are
Then it's a
taking just
different.
exams. From today, we have started to take exams of semester students, that is of semester second, fourth, and so on. And final year
Wonderful, then
students we have
wonderful.
already taken.
So how did you take final year exam? In the
Uh,
classroom only?
in classroom, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, then it's a wonderful thing.
Yes, sir.
I'm waiting for the questions on MOOCs. If you wish to have any question on that. That was my question and I got the answer from ma'am. Yeah. Any, please feel free. हिंदी में पूछें, आप में पूछें, इंग्लिश में पूछें, आपको पूछना हो, please ask.
जी, मूक से रिलेटेड आपका कोई डाउट है या आप कैसे कर सकते हैं अपने कॉलेज में या कोई मॉडल जो है कैसे एस्टेब्लिश कर सकते हैं, जैसा कि मैंने सर के इंट्रोडक्शन में बताया था कि वो बहुत सारे एनसीआर दिल्ली के उसमें काम कर चुके हैं, सो रिलेटेड टू दिस आल्सो यू मे आस्क.
Actually, today all must be very excited that this is coming to a close. So I can,
यस यस बट आई थिंक सर वैसे
yeah,
हमारा
there's a,
जो पार्टिसिपेशन रहता है पार्टिसिपेंट का बहुत एक्टिवली रहता है. आई थिंक कि आपके सेशन में आपने क्लियर ही इतना अच्छे से कर दिया डाउट जो आपकी प्रेजेंटेशन रही थी, सो कुछ है ही नहीं. स्टिल श्रीनिवास जी आप
इसमें
कुछ
सर,
कहना चाहते हैं?
हाँ सर, बताएं श्रीनिवास जी.
सर ये
वैसे
मूक
इसमें
पर जब हम
हाँ
हेलो नमस्कार
जी
सर
श्रीनिवास जी
मूक
नमस्कार,
पर सर
बताइए
जब
सर.
एग्जाम इसमें जब लेते हैं सर
जी सर.
ऑनलाइन मोड
जी
में, जैसे एक बार मैंने सर फैकल्टी डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम किया था खालसा कॉलेज से सर, तो उस टाइम पे
जी जी
उन्होंने गूगल क्लासरूम का बताया था मूक पे, तो उसमें क्लास
जी
में
जी जी
असाइनमेंट सबमिट कर दिया, लेकिन बीच में सर एक दो जगह प्रॉब्लम आई थी, वो मैं कुछ पूछना
जी.
चाह रहा था, या तो उस टाइम वीडियो ऑन करके आपने जैसे मेल आईडी सेंड किया तो मैं आपसे पर्सनली उस टाइम पूछ लूंगा सर, ये था क्वेश्चन है.
हाँ सर, इसमें क्या है श्रीनिवास सर, वही प्रॉब्लम्स
तो
जो हमारे
एक
गूगल
दो जगह सर
क्लासरूम में
मुझे
आ
डाउट
रही
आए
हैं.
थे जब मैंने, सॉरी सर, अपलोड जब उसको किया था गूगल क्लासरूम में,
जी
जैसे
जी
जब एक
जी
मैम ने बताया था कि वहाँ पे कि जब आप क्वेश्चन बैंक बनाते हो, मल्टीपल चॉइस बनाते हो, फिर उसको करते
जी
हो
जी जी.
या नेक्स्ट सेशन को करते हो, तो उस जगह सर एक दो डाउट लिए थे मेरे.
हाँ, मैं यही कह रहा हूँ श्रीनिवास सर, उसमें प्रॉब्लम गूगल क्लासरूम में बहुत सारी आ रही है. यही वजह है कि हम चाहते हैं हम अपना मूडल बनाएं, हम अपना सिस्टम बनाएं.
जी
और ये
सर.
मूडल के थ्रू बहुत पॉपुलर है, बहुत आसान है. हमको कुछ चीजें डाउनलोड करनी है, वो मैं आपको कुछ डॉक्यूमेंट्स भेज दूंगा, पवन सर आपको फॉरवर्ड कर देंगे. ट्राई करें, नहीं तो फिर मेरे से कनेक्ट करें. तो हम अपना सिस्टम बनाते हैं, उसमें हम अपलोड कर पाएंगे बहुत आराम से, पूरा एग्जाम कर पाएंगे एंड एवरीथिंग विल बी वेरी इजी. अब गूगल क्लासरूम में हम गूगल के ऊपर पूरा डिपेंडेंट हो गए. अब उसमें क्या हो रहा है, एक दो कॉपीज जो अंदर होती हैं वो वहां से कई बार हम ट्रैक भी नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. सपोज 60
जी सर.
बच्चे हैं, 100 बच्चे हैं, तो वहां प्रॉब्लम है. अगर हम इसको 1:1 करेंगे ना भाई, जैसे आपने यूजर आईडी बनाई, यूजर 1, यूजर एंड पासवर्ड, तो वो यूजर का है, उसी यूजर के उस पे रहेगा आपके पास में। तो हर लॉगिन पे आप जाओगे, आपके पास एक्सेस रहेगा और आप उसको वैसे चेक कर पाओगे। तो एक जगह
सर
जो
जैसे
हाँ बताएंगे।
एक सर जब पीपीटी जब अपलोड करते हैं ना उसमें
जी
प्रेजेंटेशन
जी
के लिए, तो वन
जी
बाय
जी,
वन ही करनी होती है, वो एक साथ नहीं कर सकते क्या उसमें?
उसमें नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन अपने वाले में आप कर सकते हैं। तो यही चीज मैं आपको गाइड करूंगा। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा पवन सर से, किसी टाइम हम मूडल पे क्लास और रख लेंगे कभी में सेशन, तो
जी
मूडल में
श्योर।
आप लोग को बताऊंगा, ठीक
सर
है?
एक
तो
रिक्वेस्ट
मूडल
है
से,
आपका, प्लीज कांटेक्ट नंबर भी सेंड कर दीजिए।
हाँ मैंने मेल आईडी लिखी है, कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर आप ले लीजिए एंड वील गेट इन टच।
श्रीनिवास जी, चैट बॉक्स में शेयर कर दिया गया है। इवन आई विल शेयर इन द व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप ऑल्सो।
जी
मैं
सर,
आप
थैंक
सभी
यू
के
सर।
साथ जो रजा खान जी का जो कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर है व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में आपके साथ लो सर ने शेयर भी कर दिया है, सो यू कैन नोट इट डाउन फ्रॉम हियर।
Any other question? I would be very happy to answer. Otherwise, thank you very much. You all have been very patient listeners. I'm really
जी
thankful.
जी,
Very
वी आर
thankful to
थैंकफुल टू
Shefali
यू
ma'am
सर।
for
जी
giving the
अब
opportunity, and Pavan sir for being in continuous touch. He was in continuous touch all these 7 days. I'm really thankful, Pavan sir.
जी, thank you so much sir for this wonderful session, or we can say informative session on
Thank you,
MOOC,
sir.
which is very important for all the teachers and all. So thank you so much sir। मैं सभी
Okay, thank you, sir.
पार्टिसिपेंट की तरफ से आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ, और
Okay.
डायरेक्टर
Thank
हमारी जो डॉक्टर शेफाली नागपाल मैम है उनकी तरफ से आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया अपना
Shukriya,
कीमती
sir.
समय देने
Shukriya.
के लिए
Dhanyawad,
और इस
sir. Dhanyawad.
कीमती टॉपिक पे बात करने के लिए। नाउ आई वुड लाइक टू इनवाइट डॉक्टर वर्षा खंडेलवाल जी टू डिलीवर वोट ऑफ थैंक्स। जी, ओवर टू वर्षा मैम।
Okay, sir. First of all, I, Dr. Varsha Khandelwal from Government Girls College, Rajsamand, Rajasthan, want to thanks Dr. Sefali Ma'am, Director, HRDC, UGC, BPS, Women University, and the coordinator of this FIP third, Dr. Pavan Verma sir, for giving me this opportunity of vote of thanks. Today in the session, Dr. Raja Khan sir delivered a very fine deliberation on the topic of MOOC, in which Raja Khan sir explained how MOOC is so important in this present era, where online teaching is the need of air. In this deliberation, he started from the evaluation of the MOOC, and later date he covered all its aspects as history of MOOCs, types of MOOCs, architectures, and even the challenges in the field of MOOC and SWAYAM. Thus, he explained very thing about the MOOC in a very effective manner. I hope all the participants enjoy in this session. It will help all of us in our future. Thank you very much, sir.
जी,
Thank you,
थैंक यू
Varsha
वर्षा मैम।
ma'am.
जी, थैंक यू वंस अगेन, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर अपना कीमती समय देने के लिए। आशा करते हैं कि
Okay, sir.
आपसे फिर जल्दी से जल्दी मुलाकात करें, और अब की बार वर्चुअल ना करके अपने कैंपस में मुखातिब हों सर आपसे।
Pakka, Pawan sir. My